Hello, friends! Today is review lesson 6, the coordinate plane. So, the coordinate plane has a few vocabulary words that we need to just look at. So, first, let's look at this. We have the y-axis, and the y-axis is simply the line that goes north and south, and it has a positive and a negative side. We next have this point right here. It's called the origin. The origin has a point of 0, 0. The word origin means its starting place. So this is exactly where you will go to start your plotting. We next have an x-axis. The x-axis is just opposite of the y, and it runs east and west. It also has a positive and a negative side. The y-axis has a positive and negative side. And the last words that were vocabulary words we need to think about are quadrants. The prefix quad means 4. And so if we have quadrants, we have 4 parts. But look where they start. This is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. It goes in a counterclockwise motion. All right, so we're going to talk about how to plot points today. So we come up to our next slide. And so we are going to plot points. And when you do that, you will start at the origin every single time. And we are going to go over on the x-axis first, then we go up and down. So our first point here, we want the points 1.5, 1. So I look on my coordinate grid and we have 1 and 1.5. There's your x. And your y says to go up 1. So up half and up 1. And this is point C. So point C is also located in quadrant 1. So now we are looking at, on number 2, we are looking at what point is located at negative 1.5, negative 1. Okay, in order to plot that point, we are going to start at the origin, same graph, and we are going to go to the left 1.5. Half, 1, and 1.5 starts right there. But my y-axis then tells me how many I go up or down. And in this case, because this is negative, we will go down 1. And so this will be point B. And let's go on to our next slide. So in this one, we are going to plot these points and tell their coordinates. Now remember, coordinates are just the numbers on how to get there. Your first coordinate is going to be your x, and your second will be your y. So we start at the origin, and we want to find point B. And in point B, I'm not going over any, so I put a 0. But I am, however, going up 3. So the directions to get to point B are 0, 3, and we write them in parentheses just like so. Now I'm looking for point D. So let's use a different color here. And let's go with some red. So in order to get to point D, I need the directions. I start at the origin. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go over 4. And in this case, I don't go over any. Don't go up and down any. So it's 4, 0. And those are the coordinates. Remember, your first number is how many you go over, left or right. And your second is how many you go up or down. All right, so let's take a look at G. Let's go down to the bottom here. So let's get rid of our old work here. And so when we go to G, we are going to start at the origin, and we are going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So our first digit for how many we go over is 4. And then we will go up 1, 2, 3, 4. That means we go in the positive 4 direction up and down. Okay? And you will continue the rest of those, work on the rest of those. So when we work on the coordinate plane, we can also do reflections. And so we want to see what the complete opposite points are across an axis. So it says here that the coordinate plane shows the points -4, 0, which is right here, and 4, 0 are the same distance from the y-axis in opposite directions. And this is your y-axis. Remember, it will almost always be labeled, but you have a y going in the north-south direction. So they are reflected across the y-axis. Notice that the y-coordinates did not change, and the x-coordinates are opposites. So what did that mean? Well, I start at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, going across, and 0 up and down. However, when I look at this point over here, I am going 1, 2, 3, 4 in the negative direction and 0 up and down. That's what they're talking about there. All right, so our next slide says name the ordered pair that is a reflection of -3, 2 across the x-axis. Well, in this case, we're talking about this axis, the x-axis. And so we start with a -3, 2. And we want to reflect, just like a mirror, a reflection across this axis. And if that's the case, I went -3 down 2. Well, if I want to reflect over, then I'm still going to go -3, but now I'm going to go up 2. So -3, 2 is the reflection. All right, so let's look at C, because you will do the boxes that are in yellow. And C has 1, -4. So let's erase our prior work. And we're going to look at 1, -4. I start at the origin, and I go over 1 and down 4. And we want to reflect, it says, across the x-axis, which is this guy right here. So if I go over 1 and down 4, and I need to reflect across this line right here, I'm still going to go over 1, but in this case, I'm going to go up 4, so it will be a +4. All right, so you will continue doing D and E on your own. All right, so let's go to the next slide here. In this one, you are going to drag and drop points. So step 1 says start at the origin, move 3 units along the x-axis, and you see that they did, and then you are going to move 5 units down, and they plotted a point right there. And you're going to label it A. So we will label that A. It says label point B, -4, -2, and what quadrant is the point in? So I'm going to drag and drop these little black dots. So let's figure out where -4, -2 is. I start at 0, I start at 0, 0, which is my origin, and I'm going to go over first. So I go over to -4, and then I'm going to go down 2. So it looks like my point is going to be about right there. So I drag that point to the point on the graph, okay? And the best laid plans are not working. There we go. And so you will drag that to the graph, okay, to the best of your ability there. And then it says, what point is this quadrant in? Well, we have a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4. So obviously it is in quadrant 3. So you will label those and drag and drop those points. All right. So let's go to our practice. So practice 1 through 6. Remember, every yellow box on any assignment is one that you will fill in on your own. Number 1 says identify the ordered pair that names each point, then identify the quadrant in which it is located. So I'm going to find point R, which is right here. And so start at the origin, and I'm going to go 1, 2 places over. So first point is 2. And then to get there, I need to go positive 2 places up. And so this point is in quadrant 2. So I'm just going to put quadrant 2. And you will do that for each of those. Now, if I look at number 7, which is on the bottom section, it says identify the name of each point. So they're going to give me the address, and I am going to find the point. I start at 0, 0, and my first point is negative 2.5. So I go to the left 2.5, which is right here, but there's no point here because I'm not there yet. And then my second point, my y, is going to be positive 1.5. So I'm going to go up 1.5. And the point that I find there is point z. And you will do the rest of 8 through 12 as well. When you finish with these, then you are going to submit to your teacher. Remember, if you have any problems with these, you will go back and watch the video at the very beginning, or you can also do menu board items. Have a good day, folks.